want people to come here. We want people to come to the central Karoo, and like potholes, like flushing toilets, like fixing the pools. For me, the bar has been set so low that it looks...
As a country, we come a long way from the struggle of apartheid to 1994 when ANC became the leader of this country, to presently where we find ourselves struggling with corruption, service delivery and many other problems. So when a party like ANC fails to deliver the services, fails to combat corruption in its municipalities and the departments, you have those parties that are growing under the failure of ANC that comes into power and want to prove that they can actually do it. In this instance, we look at Gayton Mckenzie, the leader of the Patriotic Alliance and the mayor of the Central Karoo district. After being voted as the mayor, Gayton Mckenzie promised that he is going to do anything in his power to look at the problems of that municipality, to change the problems of the community, to uplift and empower everyone in the community who is looking to be empowered. That is tackling the problems of that municipality with the utmost respect and power. Now, I've been looking at the journey that he has been undertaking since he became the mayor. And to be honest, it's one to be proud of. We cannot necessarily say he has passed, he has achieved his goals. But when someone promises to do something and you see them there on the road, you see them there on the ground trying to do something, they need to be applauded, because the bar is so low, as Gayton Mckenzie said. It is so low that when someone patches a pothole, you feel like, well, this is an achievement, because the ruling party is not doing anything about it. You sit in a community where potholes are 5 years old. You might as well buy a cake and go to that pothole and celebrate each and every year. And they will only fix that pothole when it's time for elections. And that pothole will not even stay there. It will not be fixed for 6 months. After the elections, you go back to those potholes. Now let us look at what Gayton Mckenzie has done since he became the mayor of the Central Karoo. He says the work is starting. We will eradicate bucket toilets. I can never be a mayor of people who are forced to use the bucket system. We can never fail. We will bring back the dignity of the residents. This is one where you look at and say, how on earth does a municipality, how on earth does a government in 2022 let people use the bucket system? That is one of the things that degrade the spirit of a black person, of a white person, of an Indian, people in general. But in this instance, they are used by black people. So when Gayton Mckenzie decide that I will fix the bucket system, we have to celebrate it. In no way can someone use a bucket system at this age. Even when they started, let's say they started back there in the 90s, it was still not enough for people to use a bucket system. I'd rather use a manhole than a bucket system, because there is everything wrong about the bucket. But then again, that is what you get for a country with such low expectations. He continues to say, the Central Karoo will have 0 potholes in the not so distant future. Our teams are fixing 150 potholes per day. This is not rocket science. No investors would want to invest in areas where leaders can't even fix roads. This also creates jobs for local. I agree with what he says. As you can see, these are the pictures of the procedures and the processes they are taking to fix the holes. Now, hopefully, when such thing happens, in future we can have roads where there are no potholes, where they rebuild the road. But the biggest problem with potholes is that they damage the cars. He's right by saying no investor will want to invest in a municipality, in an area where there are a lot of potholes. How else are they going to reach that area? Because it's as well as useless. So another W for Gayton Mckenzie, and also giving jobs to young people, to old people, giving them jobs. We know we struggle with jobs in South Africa. So if you can have that small job where you can maintain yourself for a month, 2 or 3 months, it's better than going and begging for those 3 months. At least for that 3 months you get, you are able to buy whatever you need. Hopefully the ruling party, the government, decide to just do something about the lack of jobs that we had. Continuing, he says, the municipality workers in Bedford West has gone for more than 2 years without protective clothing. We have assisted this young man to open a massive factory on 14 June for protective clothing. Only ladies between ages 50 to 60 will form part of the 100 workers at the factory. I understand the part of only ladies between ages of 50 to 60. Again, empowering the people of that place. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. In this instant, they are empowering the old ladies 50 to 60. We know this factory work, they are more good at it than men. So that is another empowerment that is making to the people of Central Karoo. The young man mentioned, here's how they are transforming the factory in order to build protective gears. He says, we promise to fix the pools. That's exactly what our teams are doing today. This pool has been filthy and useless for 4 years. When you count that 4 years, you look at it and be like, if this pool was fixed for that 4 years, how many kids were we going to empower? How many kids were we going to take from the street, avoid drugs, avoid crimes, by just coming and being at the pool, learning how to swim? It exercises the minds of kids. But because we do not care about where or how our kids turn, we might as well just use that money for corruption and enrich ourselves while we let our kids become drug addicts, while we let our kids become criminals. So another W for Gayton, because by doing this, it will help the community in so many ways. First of 5,000 bags of tar for the potholes in Central Karoo. Some of these roads are in a very bad state. You can say that again. From a place where I come from, you can't even dig a pothole when you drive. You might as well just go inside it, because by digging that pothole, you are endangering yourself. So you might as well jump in. As you can see, this is where they were preparing to fix the potholes. We are not only eradicating bucket system, but also hiring exclusively the locals to trench and install the new flushing toilets. The appreciation and joy from the older people is indescribable. One old lady said that she thought she would die without owning a decent toilet. And that's true. There are a lot of people who lost hope and they feel that I will leave this world without knowing 1, 2, 3. What a shame for a country as South Africa, where we think that we actually have it all. But there are people who struggle for a mere toilet. The dignity of a person to even say, I thought I was going to die before even owning a decent toilet. But then corruption, if it wasn't for corruption, we would never have been here. If it was for the love of the people, we would never have been here. Because people have forgotten what is the main reason of becoming a leader. People think that being a leader is becoming rich first, being seen as a rich person driving nice car, and then that those people will respect you. In that way, they will take you serious. How do I take you serious with an empty stomach and a pit toilet? I tried to fix the road, but I didn't pass. I am now demoted to the flag guy for the day. Still on the ground. Still working there. How many mayors have we seen that can do this? Most of the mayors that we see, they're actually not interested in doing any of this. The only time we see them in the news is when they're taking that car because it was bought through corruption. That big car, that expensive 3 million car. That is the only time we've seen them on the news. When they are looking for votes saying, no, we are going to build you a stadium. Next year, there will be a budget for a stadium. Come next year. 30 million budget. They build a 200,000 stadium. That's the country we live in. Protective clothing factory will open on Saturday. 100 people will be employed. That's the previous one. We want to bring back the textile industry to the central Karoo and making sure we stop ordering clothes from China. Wonderful. I mean, it's very funny because we order most of our things from abroad. While we have that experience, that experience to do things on our own. People go to school, they learn to do these things, but then we go and order them from abroad. Leave those people who graduated to sit at home and get different jobs from what they studied for. Alive with possibility, they said. Most of the people sitting at home without a job just need an opportunity. Training is done. Bakery will be opening on Monday. Yeah, it's about time they stop ordering Albanian and Sasko and start making cheaper bread. That's how you empower the community. That's how you empower the people. I've seen so many people who want to venture into the baking industry and produce bread. But it's a bit of an issue because you struggle to find machinery for those bread, and when you find it, local people might not want to buy that. They prefer to buy those big brands bread because they feel like the quality is more better than the one you produce. That's where we are doming ourselves. But then another W for Gayton. It gives us tremendous joy when young kids in the community come to check up on the progress of the pools. They feel like we are working slow. They've been waiting for 4 years at times. 4 years. 4 years. But then the results are ones that we need to applaud. Look at this. They built this and abandoned it for 4 years. Now, if Gayton is coming up and rebuilding it, it's a win for the community, for the people of the Central Karoo district, for the people of Bedford West. I'm documenting my 100-day promises for the people who voted for us, for the people who are rooting for us, and for some to see that it's possible if there is political will. Those that hate my tweets, please unfollow now because the real heat is coming next week. We'll be waiting for that. We are going to create a blueprint for a future South Africa in Central Karoo. Entrepreneurship will be the center of all our plans and vision. We are open for business in Central Karoo. Little to zero red tape. Please make contact info at investincentralkaroo.co.za. In so saying, this was to document the impact that Gayton Mckenzie has made since becoming the mayor of the Central Karoo. With just little words, we might as well just say we appreciate what we see and we can only hope for more. And for that, Gayton Mckenzie, as one who promised to deliver the services, may he continue to deliver without being fearless. And with that said, we thank you guys for tuning into today's episode. And it was a good one because we document the excellence that we see in the community. Unlike when we talk about the corruption that always gives us headache. To Gayton and Patriotic Alliance, that is how the country gets confidence from seeing what you do. And hopefully, when the election comes, people will think good about the impact that you made. With that said, guys, thank you for tuning into the channel. And until next time, cheers.
Looks like I'm doing a great job with the coalition, but we're just doing a normal job.